1 little, 2 little, 3 little autos, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little autos. Well, actually, there's 8 of them in here. I finally moved some Otocinclus into the cake tank. Woohoo! This tank is finally doing something interesting. I had to move the light from the 40 over to this one for a little bit because I got to get a new light for this 40 so that way I can illuminate both tanks. And these Otocinclus actually are not the original 10 that I had shown in a previous video. Unfortunately, the Otocinclus that I got from Petco did not do well at all. Now, the Otocinclus that I've had in my 40 for a long time, manual, he was perfectly fine. But the ones that I got from Petco, I believe, were just way too stressed to have survived everything that they went through. Because they were taken from the wild, then put in a facility, and then shipped across the country, and then put in Petco's tank, and then an hour or two later, I got them, and they were put in my tank, and the stress was just not doing good, and they were dropping. So before they all passed away, I decided to return those Otocinclus, because I didn't think they were going to make it, honestly. It was just a series of unfortunate events. Otocinclus are kind of sensitive. They're very picky about their parameters at times, and they really need some super clean water to feel at home and good. That being said, I have 8 Otocinclus now from a completely different source. A new friend of mine ended up buying some autos when he got a shipment of some of his own fish in. And he gave those autos to me. And now, the autos are just chilling out in the cake tank, doing things of a fish-like nature. You know, just om-nom-nomming all day long. I gotta keep this light on for a long time and really grow some algae, because these guys, their diet does mainly consist of algae, and I want to make sure they're eaten properly. Now, if you're wondering what all that white film on the back is, that is a ton of calcium. Yeah, this tank, since nothing was going on in it for a long time, I decided to just kind of let it sit. And the amount of calcium that comes out of my well water is incredibly high, which is great for my shrimp and my crayfish. And, you know, I used to breed live-bearing fish, and they need hard water as well, but as far as these guys go, it's not really necessary. But I decided not to scrape the back of it because I figure those little microscopic divots would probably give just a tiny bit more surface area for algae to grow on. So these guys were acclimating the other day for a few hours, and then after that I decided to release them, and so far they're doing way better than the Otocinclus that I got from Petco. Now, that's not to say all the Otocinclus or any of the fish from Petco are inherently bad in any way. That's definitely not the case. The Petco that I go to does a phenomenal job with their stock. Their staff is actually very knowledgeable and very capable. It's just the situation that sometimes their stock can't handle the stress of being transferred constantly. So that's why they have a 30-day warranty, you know, because stuff happens. But I am so happy to report that these guys are doing good, and now I can finally focus on my project, which is trying to breed Otocinclus, because they are not known for breeding in home aquariums very easily or often. And that's one of the problems I'm hoping maybe I can learn a solution to, because it does happen from time to time, although there's not really a widely agreed upon consensus as to why it happens or how it happens, or what needs to happen to make it happen. So if I can do anything to try and stem the flow of taking them from the wild and produce tank bred stuff, I think that'll just be better for the aquarium industry in general. So gotta have a good mix of males and females, and I do not know which ones are males and which ones are females. And that is not a red fin, that is his fin over a rock. Anywho. But yeah, things are going okay with these guys. Just did a water change right before I put them in here. Let the water settle, aerate, and I got a tank heater in here going. About 79 degrees. This thing's probably not the most accurate thing in the world. It's probably reading a little high, but all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the cake tank for right now. So we'll see how things go, because this will not only be home to the Otocinclus, but this will also be home to the elephant or rabbit snails, whichever you want to call them, that I'll be breeding. Basically, we're going to have a bunch of algae eaters in this tank. A bunch of very peaceful, fun, goofy creatures.